Good evening. One of the strongest men in the world is showing us how to harness our power to inspire others. Then for our independent artist showcase, we're going all the way to Maryland to hear from a vocal powerhouse. For Coco Hollywood, I'm Margot Spann. Our first guest is a para-powerlifter, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur. I would like to welcome Garrison Redd. Hey, Garrison.
How you doing today? Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I get to tell my story and, pretty much enlighten the world on what it's like to be disabled and African American. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I'm actually from a pretty tough neighborhood. I'm from the Brownsville section of Brooklyn. And growing up, however, I was fortunate to have a two-family household. My parents was very motivating. My parents always kept me, into education and into sports. However, on a random summer night when I was 17 years old, there was some guy outside and he came up and actually started shooting, and me and some of my friends I was in a neighborhood with at the time. A lot of people would say I was, I might have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it was right across the street from my house. And that's just something that goes on in these impoverished neighborhoods and areas of low income for minorities. Like typically children get a hold of guns at young ages and they do terrible things with them. So, I was a victim of society. I don't think I was a victim necessarily of gun violence. It's society created means for individuals at a young age to attain firearms, which that's one of the things now that I'm working to try to remove, so that way it could save lives and it could just help people all around. My doctor said these key words that shaped my recovery forever. And she said, even though you can't play football no more as an athlete, you can be the coach, and the coach is the leader. And if you think about it from that perspective, being a leader comes with more responsibility, and being a coach comes with more responsibility than actually being a player. There's 52 players on a team, but there's one head coach, and every player has to listen to that one head coach. So when she put it in those terms, I pretty much got out of that little depressive state of mind that I might have been in at the time. And honestly, from there, pretty much life took off for me. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So I guess I was one of those soldiers that he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you something that you could take and you can help other people live their life. And that's pretty much where my strength come from. It's just the ability that I know deep down inside that I can help other people. First day of school was one of the biggest turning points of my life, but one of the best days of my life. Everybody accepted me from day one. It was he's the cool kid that happened to use a wheelchair. So that adjustment period, it really wasn't what I would have expected it to be. I thought people would shy away from me and things of that nature. And mind you, I went to school and I pretty much didn't know anybody when I went to college. I didn't go to high school with anybody or anything of that nature. And I met friends and I started meeting girls and stuff like that on a daily basis. It was oh man, I really lived the college life that I expected to live. That college experience was wonderful because it gave me self-confidence and self-esteem that carried me through the rest of my life. So it was I could do anything if I could get through college and be cool and everybody accepts me. I'm the man. That's how I thought about it.
Okay, well, talk to me a little bit about how did you end up as a motivational speaker? You gave a TED Talk, bro. Hats off to you. That's amazing to be selected to be a TEDx speaker.
I just manifested everything I wanted to do in life.
How's everybody doing today? I titled my talk today, How Life is Like Lemonade. And I'm going to tell you guys how.
I used to work for the Internal Revenue Service. And I was there for about 6 years after I graduated. And I was just there like, yo, there's something I could be doing in life that can be impactful. Like, so I just was just thinking like, this is not for me, working here behind a desk. This is so corny. Like, I can't be doing this. So I actually, once I said that, things started to fall in line like genuinely and organically. My godfather was like, yo, you could be a model. And I'm like, what you mean I could be a model? I don't know any models in a wheelchair. Like, it's just something I never aspired to be. I never thought that I could become it. And he's like, nah, for real, you could be a model. And from there, I met two of like one of my good friends still to this day. My friend Ben and my friend Justin from MILF Dad. They were starting a streetwear brand. So I did the photo shoot and like, it pretty much went like viral. Then I did like a fashion show where I was on a runway and this lady just named Connie Cheek came up to me and was like, we should set a meeting at Starbucks. Like, you seem so positive and things of that nature. I go to Starbucks with her. This was back in like 2017. At this point, I still was working. I haven't done any motivational talks, anything of that nature. However, she's like, yo, you like your job? I'm like, nah, I don't like my job. I was just telling myself like how I'm gonna get out of this job. She's like, I think you should start an organization and you should do a TED Talk. So I'm like, a TED Talk? I don't even know what that is at this point. I'm like, I never heard of a TED Talk. So I'll go home, I do the research, I'm looking it up, I'm seeing all of these very inspirational and positive people that have an impact on today's society. They all done a talk. So I'm like, this is something I could do. I could talk in front of people. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I could talk in front of anybody.
See, there's this one issue with success, and that's it needs opportunity. And I brought you here to talk to you about the lack of opportunity given to people with disabilities.
To have your first talk to be on that type of magnitude is like incredible because it's like an honor. And I think at that point, that's when I started realizing I was here for something greater. And from there, I formed a non-for-profit organization called the Garrison Redd Project to help individuals with disability attain the necessary assistive devices in order for them to achieve independence, which could ultimately lead to their success.
Hey Google, what's the weather?
Right now in Brooklyn, it's 72 and partly cloudy.
I'm very independent. I'm able to do just about anything that any able-bodied individual could do.
Turn on bathroom lights.
Turning on 2 lights.
Voice-enabled technology helps me activate my lights, my heating system, my TV.
And when I was injured, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was nobody that you really could reach out to and tell them I aspire to be like you, or thank you for showing me how I could possibly live in my with my new ability. But my whole thing was like, I was here to help people because there was other individuals I noticed that was disabled, but they catered to like a certain demographic and they cared more about not so much segregation, but isolation. Like they had a view of disabled people just being amongst themselves. And my thing was like, all my life, I was an inclusive. I was the only person in a wheelchair going to the club, going out to this restaurant, in the shopping malls, like, and I was like, there's other people that think like me that just are unaware of the capabilities that they have. I was never open to the idea of playing sports after my sports career at the time was cut short because my goal in life was to be a football player. And after that was taken away from me, I'm like, I put in all of this hard work. I don't know if I want to go back into being an athlete. I don't think that's for me, but got a couple of awards already in powerlifting. But it goes to show you I got over 30 trophies in football when I was an adolescent. So I was meant to do something athletic. I just didn't know what it was at the time. The president of the Wheelchair Sports Federation hooked me up with this team called the New Jersey Navigators, which is a Paralympic sports club where they did wheelchair track and they also did field sports. I was able to lift like 250 pounds. And at the time, that was like the most any American lifted in the country. So
What?
Yeah. So from there, they flew me out to Colorado Springs. So then I had about a month of training and I was able to lift like 270 pounds out in Colorado Springs at the Olympic training facility. And then they pretty much was like, you need a spot. We have a spot for you on Team USA Para Powerlifting. team.
You talked about growing up as an athlete and always loving sports. What's it like to show how God brought it full circle? That he gave you your dreams of being a world-class athlete, but he gave it to you in a different package. What has that experience been like for you?
Thanks for asking that question, because I always try to tell people, like, if your plan B should be another way for your plan A to work. And I thought about it in this aspect, which is funny. If I would have been in the NFL, I would have connected with people across America, because NFL and American football is only a sport that's practiced in America. It's in Canada, but it's not that big as it is in America. Being a powerlifter for Team USA, I'm connecting with people across the world. So it's a much bigger magnitude and much bigger connection that I'm making with people that actually, can be inspired or motivated. So I'll take it. Like, I'll take being a Team USA powerlifter any day than being an NFL athlete, because I got an opportunity to connect with people all across the world, which is much better than just connecting with people in your country alone. So, I mean, it's an amazing feeling to look back and just to see, everything I've been through, to just come back to being an athlete again. And me being an athlete is actually motivating other people to just live the best version of themselves. My goal is to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So that's my ultimate goal. And everything I do up until then is going to be stuff to help me get to that level and that plateau. I want to be mayor of New York City. I told people that in my TED Talk. That's one of my aspirations, to be mayor. And especially during these turbulent times right now, I feel like the world needs more leaders that, actually can relate to the people. At the end of the day, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to show everybody that it's possible to be the best version of yourself.
Well, thank you, Garrison Redd. I appreciate you joining us for this episode of Coco Hollywood Live.
All right. Thank you for having me. Definitely.
Thanks again to Garrison Redd for joining us today. Now, Garrison tells me that he continues to train, so we are all going to be pulling for you when the Olympics resumes next year. Now, you can also hear more from Garrison on his website, the GarrisonReddProject.org. You can find out all about whatever he's up to and all the consulting that he does. He also has a YouTube channel that he runs with his lady, so you get a glimpse of his behind the scenes and how his everyday life goes. Now, up next, our business spotlight and our independent artist showcase have been combined to showcase a true powerhouse of an artist. Her name, Angel Griggs-Spann.
Thank God for so many wonderful blessings and so many open doors. God has given me this voice, and I want to use it to change the world. I want to use it to heal the world. Hi, my name is Angel Griggs-Spann. I'm a singer-songwriter, vocal coach, anything musical, I'm doing it. I'm a professional recording artist, and I have music available online worldwide. I have students around the world as well. I'm so grateful for that. I had a diving injury at 40 years old that caused a complete stroke. I was working for the government for 14 years prior to my my accident, my diving accident that caused me to have the stroke. So once that happened, then it's almost as if God saved me from a position that was kind of dead end. I wasn't operating in my calling because I was doing my music on the side, but I had to be at that 8 to 5, 9 to 5 job. So once I had my stroke, I never went back. I was disabled. Like I said, I was disabled. And after a year, my job decided to release me. And I was like, well, God, you have been sustaining me this long. I'm sure you're not going to stop now. So I operated full time in my music ministry, so I love it. It doesn't feel like work. The stroke missed the area that would cause me to have a permanent slur by like about that much. after the stroke, my left side was partially paralyzed. I thank God that, you know, after almost 3 years of aggressive therapy, I'm walking again, I'm talking again, I'm singing again, and I'm making an impact, you know, just to be a positive vibe and a positive influence in people's lives. So I've literally been doing this nonstop since 2009. I'm that person that you're looking at the crayon box and they don't know which color I am. They're just trying to figure out which one. And so that's me. I'm like kind of like that unicorn. You love me, it's special. Neo soul, a little bit of R&B. I can do traditional. I'm classically trained, so I may do a little, you may hear a little bit of classical, depending on the piece that I'm doing at the time. But I like intimate worship. I like where it's like intimate, comfortable, chill, you know, and it can be kind of versatile. I always say I'm the pen and God's the ink. So however he wants to write the story, I'm good with that. If I have a close, intimate relationship with God, so it comes across in my music like he's amazing to me. You deserve the glory. You know, for me, I'm still closed, kind of, you know, because the COVID is still very much out there, but I am doing some studio recording. Next Saturday, I will be on Facebook Live doing it's like an international meeting that one of the ministers, I'm an administrator to the ministry, and it's called Glory World International. And so I will be ministering there next Saturday. Every day is a blessing, first of all. Every day that God gives me air in my lungs to breathe and so forth. Every day I wake up, I'm like, how can I impact today? How can I impact today? Praise the Lord. You know, and that's literally, that's my motto every day, you know, because I'm about making an impactful existence. Here is a voice for you.
Thanks again to Angel Griggs-Spann for joining us today. Now, despite the last name, we're not related that I know of, but is she not awesome? If you'd like more information on the classes that she offers, the vocal coaching, you can go to her website, angelforrgodsmusic.com. Now, she also has a performance coming up on her Facebook page, so make sure you check that out. And if you want to hear any of her music, you can always check that out online as well. So I want to thank her for being a part of our business spotlight as well as our independent artist for this week. Thanks again to Garrison Redd and all of the information that he provided to us for the Garrison Redd project. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Hopefully you will leave tonight's show being inspired, enlightened, and hopefully a little bit entertained. And hopefully we'll see you right back here on Monday.